the 9th annual Tuscola High School Alumni Luncheon and the official ceremony that will induct two outstanding individuals into the Hall of Fame. Judy Weber-Jones and James Manwaring will be the 50th and 51st inductees into this very noteworthy group. They've achieved great success in their careers, and we're just really thrilled to have them here. I have to tell you a little story real quick. I heard James and Bruce Wood talking this morning about living in Chicken Bristle, which, you know, many of you should know is kind of north and west of Tuscola. Well, I live north and west of Tuscola too, but I'm only a mile and a half off of Route 45. But then in this age of technology, when I pick up my cell phone, it doesn't say Tuscola, it says Chicken Bristle. It's true. My dad didn't believe me, but it's true. It says Chicken Bristle. So we have something in common with that. Well, we'd like to begin today with a very special tribute to a young lady I had the pleasure of interviewing earlier this summer, Leona Timmons Stephen. At the tender age of 92, Leona is here to celebrate her 75th year as a Tuscola High School graduate. And as an added bonus, she has 14 of her family members with her, and also, right, a nephew that has arrived. Is that right, Ann? Can you stand all the way from Vancouver, Washington, to join us today? Well, everyone who drives Route 36 can remember seeing this woman of energy and purpose walking and exercising with stride and form that we all envy. In fact, I wanted to stop and pick her up many times, and I knew better than to even ask because I knew she liked to walk. During her marriage to her husband, Wayne, they lived in the beautiful brick house just east of I-57 that's still there, and she would walk against traffic into town. She told me that her secret to good health is exercise, and she was quite proud of the fact that she could walk faster than her sister could run. And that's Evelyn, and she's 90, by the way. Well, Leona grew up in a house west of town on the corner of Route 36 and County Road 750, just this side of what we all traditionally know as USI, that's known now as Lyondell. And as a young girl, she walked 1 mile north to a country school, and her lunch was a potato that she carried with her that was heated on the stove there. That country school closed soon after she went to high school in Tuscola on the Sale Street address, but it's still used as a residence today. 75 years ago, Leona remembers that football was the only sport, and her favorite thing to do was to walk to Brookside after class to dance. Others liked the jitterbug, she told me, but she liked to waltz. She and Wayne would later dance to the big bands that came to Tuscola, to the concrete amphitheater at the north end of the park. And the couple was also wild about harness racing, and Leona's passion for that sport continues to this day. She attended races this summer in Champaign and Coles counties. But these days, she's also the appointed groundskeeper at Tuscola's Jarman Center, where she weeds, waters, and donates flowers for the Healing Garden that's located where patients used to be unloaded for emergency services when Jarman was a hospital. And this woman has a social calendar that would leave the rest of us behind in a cloud of dust. Trips to the Villa Grove Country Club, the Smith House on Tuesdays, and her coffee group on Fridays keep her sharp and connected to the community. But one thing stood out for me more than any other when we visited, and that was at the conclusion of our visit. She leaned over to me and she said, "You know what? Tuscola's greatest assets are its people. When people come back home, come back to their roots, great things happen." Well, Leona, I think we all agree, and today we celebrate you with the fact that 4 generations of young ladies from your Stephen family shared our interview that day. And Stephen Leisner is a 40-year substitute teacher in the district. Joanna Morgan-Steffen is a TCHS English teacher and drama coach. And guess what? We're blessed with royalty today because Leona's great-granddaughter, Julianne Steffen, is Little Miss Tuscola 2017 and a current student in the district. We took photos that day we visited. The girls were all dolled up in their matching Tuscola sweatshirts, and Linda Coker, who designed the flowers that you see on the table today, hurried up and made me some football mums, just like we all used to wear, just for that occasion. And today, with the help of our little Miss Tuscola, I'd like to share the photos that we took with Leona. Let me show you what they look like. Julianne, would you come forward, please? We're going to give this one to Leona. This was her. Isn't that beautiful? Can you take that? And it's really important that you all see this one too, and those sweatshirts and those mugs. Isn't that great? We hope that you'll enjoy these very, very much. Jillian, if you want to come up and get this one, we'll take it too. Isn't it great to have royalty help you with these things? Congratulations, Leona. You have a lot to be proud of. Now then, I also understand, after all this went to press and we had it all taken care of, another 75-year graduate service from the class. And she's here today. Ann Shable, would you stand, please? And be sure. We'd like for you to take home a centerpiece so that you can enjoy your celebration as well. I think that's quite an accomplishment. Well, at this time, I'd like for Ryan Hornaday to come forward, class of 1997. He is going to read her grace today before we have our lunch.
Would you bow to me, please? Lord, we're so blessed to be able to gather today. We pray that you would come and sup with us. We're so grateful for the lives that we can celebrate and honor and just recognize your goodness today, Lord. May you bless the meal. We're so grateful for all the promises that you bring forth to us. And may you bless our lovely small little town. All in Christ's name. Amen.
In Tuscola, and the group that is assisting us today is the FFA, assisting with your table service and helped us set up a little bit, and we'll be carrying down. And I don't think we could do it without them. We're very, very grateful. I'd like to have, thank you, Dan. We have a new advisor this year. Aspen Pearl is starting her first year at Tuscola. And Aspen, if you'd like to come up and tell them a little bit about what FFA is today, we would enjoy that.
Well, I know many years ago, the typical stereotype for FFA was that it was just farmers. Today, the dynamic has changed for the organization as a whole, and it's much more than just farming. Now we incorporate leadership activities among career development events, which prepare our young kids to go out and be successful in their careers later on in their future. I would like to take the opportunity to thank my kids for coming today. I know that they've got a busy day ahead of them with homecoming dance, and I apologize that they aren't in official dress, but with the heat outside, if you're dressed in official dress, you have about 20 degrees when you're in that. So I told them, I said, save yourself, stay cool today, and come casually. So I apologize for that, but anything that you guys need today, catch one of them and ask them. But thank you guys so much. It's been humbling to be here and to be welcomed by the community, and I have to say, I'm even more humbled because these kids are some of the finest in the state. So thank you.
We appreciate your help so much. So we'd like to give you this gift from the Alumni Association to help with your programs in any way you see fit. Thank you, Ashley. You may have also noticed that your program said we were having warrior cookies today. Well, they were to be baked by one of our other alums, Pam Maxey, who fell ill midweek. So we found another business called Sugar and Sass, who put your cupcakes together. So don't panic if you have someone call at the last minute. There's always somebody that can help you out, and that's great. Okay, at this time, I'd like for you to take your program and turn to the inside with me to the panel that reads TCHS Hall of Fame, and follow along as we read the distinguished members of this group. All 51 inductees, including today's inductees. And if you see somebody you know, it's okay to clap or shout out or anything like that. And I think it'll be interesting. They're listed by their class. So here we go. Fred H. Turner, Faye Fullerton Nicollet, Francis Fullerton Hopkins, Curtis Marsh, Dr. Maynard Hine, Frida L. Watson Morris, John C. Morris, Lyle Puff, Charles S. Belbreath, Wayne and Blaine Rideout, James Reeder, Wilbur J. Holt, William W. Huber, James Woolman, Joseph Lloyd, William Lear, Dr. Morris Martin, Roscoe Randall, Lauren Blasing, Gerard M. Brecky, William F. McCarty, Wayne N. Meyer, Wayne Robbins, Patty Lincoln Waters, Dennis Dietrich, Dr. Gail Taylor, Richard Helm, George Bud Jenkins, Frank Lincoln, Carl Corp, PhD, Barb Lecker Utterback, Robert Wetzel, Michael Weber, Maury Reese, James Manwaring, Joe Weiss, Douglas Carnine, Michael Carroll, Linda Matheny Mulvihill, Dr. William Cunningham, Don Jenks, Douglas R. McCumber, Dr. Greg Scuda, Johnny Reed, and someone who was here earlier this week, Andrea Huber, Judy Weber Jones, Rick Moody, Sharon Lake, Dr. Earl E. Butler Ferguson, and Fred Wakefield. What a group, eh? Well, this year we also like to salute the following classes who have made us aware that they're having reunions in and around Tuscola. The class of 1957 celebrating 60 years. The class of 62 celebrating 55 years. There you go. The class of 72 celebrating 45 years. The class of 77 celebrating 40 years. And of course, there's that class that features Doug McCumber, one of our Hall of Famers, celebrating 50 years as graduates of Tuscola High School. Now, yeah, there you go. Now, those of you who know me know that I'm keen on keeping everybody humble, right? So you're feeling really great about being a 50-year graduate. I always think you need to remind yourself that when you were graduating, the 50-year graduates that year were the class of 1917. So that kind of keeps everybody on track a little bit better. That was kind of mean, wasn't it? I want to give you a look back at 50 years ago. And right off the bat, I figured out why Doug became a banker. Because that was the year that the handheld calculator was invented. And he could put that in his pocket, and if anybody asked about a mortgage, he could whip that out and look like he was just really uptown with that calculator. So I figured that out. That was also the first year the first issue of the Rolling Stone magazine was published. They sold 5,000 copies. Today's circulation is 7 million. Cost of a Super Bowl ad in '67, $42,000, which still sounds pretty pricey to me. But today they base at $5 million. And by the way, that was the first year of the Super Bowl, and the Green Bay Packers were the winner. You were watching the 5 top shows in '67 that included The Andy Griffith Show, The Lucy Show, Gomer Pyle USMC, Gunsmoke, and Family Affair. And what were you listening to? Do you remember when you were cruising Tuscola and going around the DQ and out to the park to see who was in town, honking at your friends? Well, I'm a Believer by the Monkees. The Buckinghams were singing Kind of a Drag. Rolling Stones were rolling through Ruby Tuesday. And the Beatles were on Penny Lane. The Turtles were singing Happy Together, and they still sing that down at the Effingham Performance Theater once in a while. You'll have to watch the papers for that. And that summer, it was Ode to Billy Joe. Do you remember that song? Oh my gosh, every single station was playing it to the point that I was ready to jump off Tuscola. The World Series champions that year were the Cardinals. Jack Nicklaus, yeah, there you go. The Jack Nicklaus was the U.S. Golf Open champ, and the tennis champ for ladies, Billie Jean King. South African doctor Christian Barnard performed the very first heart transplant in 1967. And you gals, you were convinced to start using L'Oreal products that year. You know why? Because you're worth it. Meanwhile, the Maytag repairman was complaining that he was the loneliest guy in town. That was also the year that Jane Mansfield died in a car crash when their car hit the rear end of a farmer truck. But asleep in the back seat was her daughter, Mariska Hargitay, who we lovingly refer to now as Olivia Benson from the Law and Order SVU series. And Time Magazine's Man of the Year was Lyndon Johnson. So that's a little bit about what was going on in 1967. And before we introduce our inductees, I would ask that Marcy Shoemaker would stand for a moment. I know she's going to just spit at me for that. But if you wonder how all the homecoming activities get put together, where it all starts, here's our mastermind right down here at the end of the table. The whole week, she works tirelessly. And with her, I'd like for the rest of the committee to stand also so you can see them. They are listed in your program. And give all of them a round of applause because I sure appreciate that. It's been a 9-year effort to continue to build relationships, provide scholarships, and more than anything, stir community spirit to bring everyone home and attend this luncheon during homecoming season. So thanks, guys. Appreciate the help.